All praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Warakakodash. Peace, blessings, and much respect to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, on down to the rest of the elders who rule well within Israel. Salutations to the hopeful elect throughout the four corners of this whole entire earth, no matter where, whom they may be, or what they may look like, pushing out this purified truth. To the rest of the church who believe as well, you men who may not be teachers or prophets, you women, sons, and daughters also. The water to Yahweh Shai, because without him enduring and going to that cross for the nation of Israel and the nation of Israel alone, none of this would even be possible whatsoever. 2nd Esdras chapter 2 verse 40. Take thy number, O Zion, and shut up those of thine that are clothed in white. Now when it says O Zion, it's not speaking of the mountain itself, which is also known as the city of David, but this is speaking of the people, the men of Israel. Take thy number, O Zion, and shut up those of thine that are clothed in white, which have fulfilled the law of the Lord. The number of thy children, whom thou longest for, is fulfilled. And what's that number? That number goes into the 144,000. And when that number 144 is added up, you get the number 9. The number 9 represents judgment. The 144,000 are going to be made judges over the earth. Okay? The number of thy children whom thou longest for is fulfilled. Beseech the power of the Lord, that thy people, which have been called from the beginning, may be hallowed. And that's the elect. In order for you to be chosen, called and chosen, you have to be chosen from the beginning. I, Esdras, saw upon the Mount Zion a great people. So now Esdras is seeing, okay, Zion on top of Mount Zion, also known as the city of David. Okay. I, Esdras, saw upon the Mount Zion a great people whom I could not number, and they all praised the Lord with songs. And in the midst of them there was a young man of high stature, that man being Yahweh Shai. See, when Yahweh Shai was martyred, when he was crucified, he was only about 33 years old anyway. So when he comes back, although he's an immortal, he had left over 2,000 years ago. When he returns, he's not going to return looking like how somebody would look in the flesh who's like 100 years old, their skin's all wrinkled up and all that. Yahweh Shai is going to return with the look of a young man. That's why it kind of irritates me when I hear men say Yahweh Shai's hair is going to be gray because of stress, when he's in a spiritual body. He's coming back as an immortal. He's coming back with the look of a young man. And in the midst of them, there was a young man of high stature, taller than all the rest, because Yahweh Shai, he's going to be exalted above everybody, okay, under the Heavenly Father. And the elect are going to bow down before they receive the crown. This is going to take place when we're taken up in them chariots, okay, and then the Lord's going to bring us over to Mount Zion, and then we're going to come down from heaven in our new bodies, man, waiting to be crowned by the Lord himself. Taller than all the rest, and upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and he was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly, because Esdras saw the power of Yahweh Shai. He knew, okay, these men who got saved, these men who are being crowned, those men are of that holy number. But the man that's putting a crown on their head, he was glorified even more because he's the head. Okay, he's the top guy of all the elect. He's the elect of the elect. Okay? So the elect would be bowed down, which would make them to look shorter, while Yahweh Shai would be putting crowns on their head. And then he would be taller also because of his stature when it comes to his position. Okay? So we're looking forward to being crowned. That's what we want, who are fighting, you know, the best that we can, enduring the best that we can, because we understand there is a reward. Okay, Yahweh Shai is going to put crowns on the head of his elect. Let's go to Luke chapter 15 and verse 22. But the father said to his servants, bring forth the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and shoes on his feet. So for those of us who make it, we're going to be taken care of. We're going to have crowns on our head. We're going to have the best clothes. Okay, we're going to have the best jewelry. We're going to be decked out. Okay? And some men may not be into jewelry now, but when you receive what Yahweh Shai is going to give you, what Yahweh Shai is going to give you, you're not going to turn that down. And I can only imagine what our crowns, what our rings, what our necklaces would look like, man, in the kingdom. How heavy they would be in comparison to the jewelry of today. Okay? Our crowns, might be 200 pounds, all we know. Now, for us, that won't be nothing. But if a mortal man was to try to put a 200 pound crown on their head, let's see how that turns out. But we are going to be decked out. We're going to be glorified when the Lord returns. He's going to set us up nicely. Let's read this again in Luke 15 and 22. But the father said to his servants, bring forth the best robe and put it on him, because we're going to have all the finest materials, all the finest clothing possible, period. Okay? We're not going to be wearing mixed fabrics. Okay? We're not going to be dealing with some of these cheap generic fabrics that people wear today. Fabrics that actually kill your testosterone. All right? And put a ring on his hand and shoes on his feet. So we're going to be decked out. We're going to have a crown on our head. We're going to have rings on our fingers. We're going to have the nicest clothes. But this goes to those who are obedient. And that's the elect. Let's go to Proverbs chapter 25. Proverbs chapter 25 and verse 12. As an earring of gold and an ornament of fine gold, so is a wise reprover upon an obedient ear. So earrings of gold, ornaments of gold are likened unto a man with an obedient ear. Well, those of us who have an obedient ear, if we be of the elect, we're called and chose from the beginning, we're going to receive earrings of gold, ornaments of fine gold, rings on our finger, okay, necklaces around our neck, a nice, beautiful, glorified crown on our head. Okay? That's how you know these Edomites and these other nations, they're not the people. You look at Jake, even in our low state, Jake like jewelry. Jake like looking nice, man. Jake will have $0 in his savings account, but have on an outfit that make him look like he doing it. Okay? Our people like looking nice. Our people like looking sporty and looking a little elegant, looking flashy, so to speak. Well, we're going to do all that in the kingdom. Right now, we humble ourselves as we wait. We have our little jewelry and things now, but it's less than nothing in comparison to what we are going to receive here in the near future. Okay? We should be looking forward to these things, but we have to remain obedient and diligent and, maintain our integrity, maintain our patience, maintain enduring. As an earring of gold and an ornament of fine gold, so is a wise reprover upon an obedient ear. Okay, so those who are obedient, you're also going to receive earrings of gold, ornaments of gold as well. Okay, now let's go to Ezekiel 16. I might hold that. Matter of fact, I'll get it. Ezekiel chapter 16 and verse 11. And this is how we used to be, but because of the curses, we fell. And seeing that what I'm about to read is how we used to live, how much more when we get delivered out of this captivity and we're set up on high. Ezekiel 16 and 11. I decked thee also with ornaments, and I put bracelets upon thy hands and a chain on thy neck, showing you there's nothing wrong with having bracelets and chains. Okay, and then the fact that the word decked, you know, you used to hear Jake back in the day say how they were decked out. I'm decked out. We used to be decked out, man. We used to be, you know, glorified. We used to be shining. But now we're like dim gold because we fell. Let's hold this right quick. Saying dim gold made me think of a verse. I want to say it's Lamentations, is it 4:1? Lamentations chapter 4:1. How is gold become dim? And we are that gold. But see, the Lord is making us more precious than fine gold as we go through certain trials and tribulations. But right now we're like dim gold because of our sins. We're going through punishment, but the Lord is cleaning us up. The Lord is putting us who are of the hopeful elect through that purifying process so that we're no longer dim, but rather we're sparkling, we're shining. We're like a mirror when you look at a shiny block of gold and you see the reflection off of it. How has the gold become dim? How is the most fine gold changed? The stones of the sanctuary are poured out in the top of every street, and we're lively stones. We represent the church. We make up the third temple, but we fell. But the Lord is gathering these stones back together and building up this third temple. And then in the process, these stones are being purified, are being made new. Okay, they're being cleaned up to where they're not going to remain dim. Okay, so right now we're like dim gold. At one time we were decked out, we were shining. Ezekiel 16:11, I decked thee also with ornaments, and I put bracelets upon thy hands, and a chain on thy neck, and I put a jewel on thy forehead, and earrings in thine ears. And when it says a jewel on thy forehead, that goes into nose rings, I believe. Let's go into Hebrews 6:39. The word says af. It says nostril, nose, face. Okay, so nostril being a nose ring. And some men, they might say, oh, nose rings ain't lawful. Yes, it is. I'm reading it to you. And I put a jewel on thy forehead, or a nose ring, a jewel on thy nostril, and earrings in thine ears, and a beautiful crown upon thine head. Okay, and we're going to receive an even better crown. Thus wast thou decked with gold and silver, and thy raiment was of fine linen. So just like back then, we were decked out with gold and silver. We had on, you know, the best clothes made of the most qualified, the highest quality material. Okay, thus was thou decked with gold and silver, and thy raiment was of fine linen and silk, embroidered work. Thou didst eat fine flour and honey and oil, and thou was exceeding beautiful, and thou didst prosper into a kingdom. And thy renown went forth among the heathen for thy beauty. For it was perfect through my comeliness, which I had put upon thee, saith the Lord. But thou didst trust in thine own beauty, and played the harlot, because of thy renown, and pouredst out thy fornications on everyone that passed by. His it was. So we went from being on top. We went from being glorified, but then we fell. We started to get arrogant. We started to get proud. We started to turn aside, you know, from righteousness and started doing wicked things, not giving the Lord his glory. Just like Jake today, you know, they'll get a new house, a new chain, some new shoes, a new clothes, a new ride, and they'll get proud. They'll get arrogant. They'll get to feeling themselves. They'll get cocky. But that's going against the scriptures, man. We're supposed to give reverence to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, not get ahead of ourselves. But the point of this lesson is showing that in the kingdom, we're going to have necklaces. You know, we're going to have earrings, nose rings, if that's, you know, the things that we want. We're going to have crowns on our head. We're going to have the nicest attire. We're going to have the nicest of everything. Okay, even going back to the days of Solomon, Solomon was into jewelry and things. Solomon chapter 1 and 9. I have compared thee, O my love, to a company of horses and Pharaoh's chariots. Thy cheeks are comely with rows of jewels, thy neck with chains of gold. So Solomon had chains of gold, man, because that's how the Israelites are. Okay? We like jewelry. We like looking nice. We like being decked out. But these things are going to be given to the Lord's elect. We're going to receive everything. So we're going to receive the finest of everything. And not only that, when it comes to receiving these things, they're going to be incorruptible. Okay? We don't have to worry about them rusting and getting dim, getting stolen, misplacing them. 1 Corinthians 9 and 25. And every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible. So we're doing this to obtain an incorruptible crown, a crown that cannot be taken from us, a crown that cannot be stolen from us, a crown that we're not going to ever lose. It's going to be an everlasting crown. The moment that we're crowned, we're going to have those crowns for an eternity. Okay? So we're going to be hooked up nice, man. And this is just speaking of the jewelry side of it. You know, for brothers who like jewelry, the Lord is going to set us up real nice, man. We just have to wait upon Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Hell, we're going to be like jewelry ourselves, man. We're going to be shining. Let's touch on Daniel's chapter 12 and verse 2. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life and some to everlasting contempt. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament. So we're going to shine. Our bodies itself are going to be illuminated. And then on top of our bodies being illuminated, we're going to be decked out. We're going to be rocking the nicest jewelry, man. And they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. So we're going to be shining, man. We're going to be shining like the stars in the sky. Okay, from our bodies all the way down to our jewelry. All right, so we're looking forward to being glorified, man. We just got to hold on a little bit longer. You know, when times get hard, just reflect on the reward, man. Kahala Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Shalom.